Hey, what's up guys? Books Nelson here, back with another video, and we are talking about, as promised, the breakdown of these invincible cards that are coming in here today. So let's get right into the content. So the main concern here with these cards is, did they adjust any of these jump shots? Because if they adjusted the jump shots, truth of the matter is small cards can still play. Now I will say, as more of the Kareems start to emerge into the wild, you will have to wait until that Kareem is tired before you bring in a small guard, unless you're willing to play at a pretty decent disadvantage. Now, if you're way better than your opponent, you should win anyway, but because Kareem's an advantage, but he's not a win button. But without the jumpers, so here's the problem, and I want to bring this up for a reason. With Kareem being more popular, and tall guards getting more popular because they have to defend Kareem, right? So even people who might not have Kareem might have a Wemby or even a Dirk, who's just going to be this tall, pretty athletic player that's out there. If these cards don't have, the smaller cards especially, have adjusted jumpers, those jumpers that are too slow or have a hitch, those big cards can just jump from out of position into position. And that's what creates the big disadvantage. Scoring wise, you can still score, you can still get to the basket, and I think you can, even if your card is 6'6" or above, you can even get stops on those taller cards from the point guard position. But the struggle becomes, a lot of the shots that you would normally get, if you don't have something like Patty Base, you're not going to be able to get those shots off. So what we're going to be looking for in this breakdown are these animation changes really across the board, because the odds on these packs are so low that it doesn't really, the whole project just doesn't make sense. But let's get into it. All right, so we're not going to start with Lonzo. We're going to start with Steph. All right, Stephon Marbury. Shout out to Stephon Marbury showing up with all of the Knicks legends and supporting our team during the playoffs. Shout out to Steph. Big fan. All right, Derrick Rose, Derek Favors. I believe that's going to be the same shot. D-Rose base, I don't think is anything to write home about. We're going to find out right now if that is the same. Now, it will be on very quick, as opposed to what it was before, but let's go ahead and look at the animation. It is the very same jumper, but on very quick. Now, I don't know if that jumper is going to be a lot better or not. Obviously, he's going to have 99 everything. Animation-wise, dribbling, he's looking, we saw a lot of improvements compared to the old card, even in the flash we just saw there. But yeah, he's got a lot of good animations in terms of that stuff goes. You got Pro 2 leaner, normal 2 hop jumper, good combo. So he looks like a solid card across the board. But the things that I look at with Steph that holds him back somewhat is the short wingspan. He's only got a 6'4" wingspan, so the short arms don't help do his player build any favors. He's 6'2", and for the most part, 6'2" cards feel really different from 6'3" cards. There are several 6'3" cards in the game, and from 6'3" to 6'5", that if you just look at the card, they don't really look that different. Right, so like say Westbrook would be a great example. Between like Westbrook, J Kidd, Derek White, Drew Holiday, you look at all of those cards and they all just look like, oh yeah, they're roughly the same size. They don't look crazy different. But those 6'2" cards, they can look way smaller, right? So with the 6'4" wingspan, we don't love that at all. And with this shot base, it's a no-brainer. So we're gonna keep it moving. Jason Kidd, one of my favorite cards all year. Unfortunately, when we do our all NBA team for my team 2K24, my all my team, I don't think J Kidd's gonna make it, but he would make maybe third or fourth team because his cards have been so good and fun and just solid all year. The problem with J Kidd is he's never been truly meta, and that's not going to change here. This card is going to be fine. Jason Kidd cards he's going to defend fine for his size, 6'8" wingspan, right? Big contrast there. Much bigger card in general, 6'4" height. And so yeah, if you're a J Kidd fan, is this card usable? He is usable. And that's something I want to talk about. Like I mentioned this before, but it bears repeating. These cards have 99 everything. We're at the point in the year where most cards don't provide you a severe disadvantage, and most cards don't provide you a severe advantage. If you want a severe advantage, you either need extreme size, an extremely good player model, or an extremely good shot. And if you're a larger character, the larger characters with the really great SIGs, those provide the serious advantage. Most of the other cards are generally somewhere in the middle. And if you want to be at a really big disadvantage, you're mostly talking about either being really small or having a really bad jumper, right? Because even a card like, say, Jason Tatum, who doesn't have good SIGs at all for moving around the court. In fact, I think his SIGs are actually worse with the dribble style he has compared to his diamond. But his shot is so good that he's not a disadvantage on the court. He's just not a shot creator. He's going to hit every shot. He's nice and tall. He's going to defend well. He's going to slash well, going straight line to the basket. If you use the in and out tech that we've discovered on this channel, link in the description below, you'll be able to play and score with the card, and he'll provide a solid value for you on your team. So when we go through these cards, don't take the criticism of the cards out of context. If I say this J Kid is not good, I don't mean he's literally not good. I mean he doesn't provide a serious advantage, right? Now, that having been said, I like this card. I don't know if I'd play him because I got to make a video on this guy. I love that Dark Matter Lonzo. And I don't know if a card like Jason Kidd being smaller would get me off of that Lonzo. But I expect Jason Kidd is going to do everything on the court very, very well and be a generally serviceable point guard. Emeka Okafor, did you get any changes? So he doesn't need any changes because Emeka Okafor has MPJ base with Klay Thompson upper, which is phenomenal. I want to look and just double check and make sure, because actually I don't think I've really looked at his animations. Okay, so this is why I like his shot so much. So people have said, hey, that Emeka is really good. You should check that card out. And at the time, I didn't have people lending me their accounts, and I didn't get the card. Now, I did get the card later, but he was kind of outdated, so I didn't, do a video on him or anything. However, the card was in my lineup for quite a while. He'll probably be getting put back into my lineup, to be totally honest with you, because I think he deserves a spot on a lineup. I think he's just very good. This shot is absolutely elite. Klay upper with MPJ base is phenomenal. He's got phenomenal SIGs across the board. There are a few SIGs here and there that could be better. The James Harden behind the back is pretty outdated. In fact, the more that I go into it, I do think that James Moon is the second best behind the back in the game for sure. Him and Halliburton you'd prefer over James Harden. I think even Iverson you'd prefer over Harden. So I'm going to go ahead and demote Harden to probably the fourth or fifth best behind the back in the game. In fact, I would even say Trae Young behind the back, which is not good for creating threes, but is good for going to the basket. I'd rather have over Harden. So I'm going to bump the Harden behind the back way down on my personal tier list and start criticizing this behind the back a little more, just because it doesn't create as much space. However, with a taller card, it is better. With a small card, this behind the back just doesn't quite get the job done. But with a taller card, it creates more space because the animation is just bigger. It just moves them more, right? So I do think this is still a good behind the back. It's just not an elite behind the back. And I can think of 3 or 4 that I'd rather him have. Nikola Jokic, I mean, he has all the same animations. And so he was a great card before. He's a great card now. And we'll go ahead and see what's improved. So we see here, he's got the shooting badges way buffed. A lot of these playmaking badges, way buffed. And he needs all of these. That Hall of Fame handles for days. So you're new to, we got a lot of new subs on the channel. So if you're new to the channel, the thing about Hall of handles for days, it's a stamina badge, right? So this means every time you do any dribble move at all whatsoever, if you don't have handles for days, you get hit for it. And so the card not only cannot play as long, but they'll play way worse. This is one of the most important badges in the game, because the more stamina you have, the more the rest of these badges are allowed to be effective, right? So this is a badge. I don't care what the rest of these badges are. The most important badges on the rest of these lists, I value handles for days very, very, very highly because it enhances your entire build because of the stamina effect. And it also makes you dribble faster, right? That's not a commonly known fact, but I believe it's 2K Labs that discovered this, so you guys can check that knowledge out if you're curious about it. But you dribble faster and you move way better with handles for days. So him getting Hall of Fame handles for days is a big deal if you didn't already give him at least gold handles for days on the previous card. So the badge upgrades are significant, as we see here. We've got the Deadeye, we've got the Limitless Range, and we know he has that 99.3, which if we look at his old card, that was the one weakness of the card, is he didn't have the kind of three-pointer that you could just chuck any three-point shot. Standstill three-point shots, sure. A little step back, he's probably fine if you put the Agent 3s on him. But once he got a little bit behind that three-point line, he would start to be less effective. Whereas now, He can shoot anything from anywhere. And I do think that between this three-pointer upgrade and those badges, this is a very significant upgrade where he goes from a very good card to almost an elite card. The reason I wouldn't put him at elite, I just think not having that Jamal Murray and having the Giannis crossover it's a negative. It's a negative. So I think he's really, really good. I think he would actually have an argument for best power forward in the game if he had those two animations, because his shot is so good. And at 6'10" with a fairly stocky build, he's, big enough, and 7'4" wingspan. He's got a good enough player model that I think he can compete versus even the taller cards in the game. But offensively, he'd add another shot creator on the court. And the more tall cards you have to put at point guard to battle the Kareems and the Wembys and stuff like that, the more value these shot creators have. And so he is still a shot creator. He would just be a better one if he had perfect animations to be accompanied with his perfect SIGs and perfect badges. But is Emeka Okafor great? Absolutely. He's a massive thumbs up. That having been said, even though I do think this is a noticeable upgrade over the Dark Matter, will you notice that upgrade all the time? I don't think so. I think defensively, he's going to feel very much the same. I think catch and shoot, he's going to feel very much the same. I think even creating going to the basket, he's going to feel very much the same. I hate when this website does this. I think the big difference is in what you were never doing with him before, you can start doing now. So before, you might not have been creating with him all the time because maybe you didn't have a Hall of Fame handles for days to put on him. Or maybe you weren't comfortable taking crazy shots behind the three-point line, like float leaners and step backs and all of that stuff. Whereas now you can use him in a way that you couldn't before. That's the upgrade. So if you play this card the same way you played the Dark Matter, I don't think you notice that big of a difference. But if you take note of the improvements that he has and you use these improvements to your advantage, then I do think you will notice a big difference between the two cards. All right, so Emeka Okafor, big thumbs up from me. Michael Redd desperately needs an improved shot animation. I don't think he got it. Michael Jordan upper, he's cooked. I'm not going to talk about this card more. Listen, I'll talk about him a little bit because he does have better dribble SIGs, I think. Let's go ahead and put that A before the E, like a person who knows how to spell the name Michael. And because there's so many Michael Jordan cards, I actually have to put the last name. That is hilarious. All right, so let's look at him side by side. So we see here big upgrades across the board, although I personally love the pro dribble style as my career player. But, these are big upgrades across the board. He's going to move way better. And his shot goes from normal to very quick. Okay, so I will say this. I don't know how much better the shot's going to be with this speed upgrade. The Michael Jordan upper is a brutal speed nerf on any jumper. It's easy to see. It's just quite slow. And I don't know if this upgrade is fast enough to overcome the Michael Jordan upper. If it is, then he's a good card. Is he a great card? I don't know. I mean, listen, he's 99 everything, so he should be solid at everything else on the court. 6'9" wingspan, solid but not impressive. Dribble SIGs, mostly solid but not super great. He doesn't have Kobe crossover. He doesn't have, we'll see which behind the back this is. This could definitely help a lot if this is an elite behind the back. So he's got, mostly really, really good SIGs. Kemba Escape best in the game. D-Rose signature size up, easily one of the best in the game. Blend goes very well with the Kyrie Irving dribble style. So he's got a lot going for him. Pro 3 leaner is horrible. That is terrible. So you know what? I'm going to revise this. I do not think this is a good card because I do not think this card plays over the two cards that are available for free and in the market. Dr. J is better than this card, hands down. Dr. J is going to be better. And you can get Dr. J from the option packs, I believe. I saw the Dr. J option pack in someone else's video. I also saw it on my season pass, which leads me to believe that it's there for everyone. I could be wrong, but I think the Dr. J option is in everyone's season pass. So if you're completing the season pass and you don't have Dr. J from last season, definitely pick him up. And Klay Thompson, easily going to be a better card, like way, way, way better. Klay's an absolute monster, 100 overall Klay, which you can get from the option pack or the wheel. And then Ricky Davis, who's perfect, right? So no, this card, I think even if you're a no money spent player or a pro money spent player like me, and you get the pro pass, I don't think this guy plays over any of those cards, which makes him an L pull unless you just like Michael Red or you have a second team where you like to switch it up. But he doesn't crack the lineup of even the best free cards, let alone cards that you might have like Michael Beasley and so on and so forth that are also really, really excellent at that position. And I would even say, because of his jumper, I would even use the Tatum over him, right? Like, yeah, Tatum's not going to create for me, but I'd rather somebody who's really, really good at shooting than somebody who's great at creating, but their shot is baited. So if his shot doesn't speed up enough, he doesn't have the height or wingspan to justify existing on the court, and he doesn't even, I think, come close to the top free or pro money spent cards that are available in the game right now. Amar'e Stoudemire should be fantastic, right? Amari's shot is solid. It's quick enough. It's got a little bit of a hitch, but not a bad hitch, not like a hold it hitch. It's just a 2-point release, right? A 1-2, pretty good. Normal leaners, solid. Nikola Jokic hop jumpers, absolutely elite. 6'10" at the small forward spot, so you can defend every position on the court with a nice 7'1" wingspan. You can play switch all defense effortlessly with this card. His SIGs look pretty much perfect. John Wall moving crossover, John Wall step back. This is the best card in the set for sure. I think Emeka Okafor is also really good, but the fact that Amar'e can also play the small forward puts him over the top, beyond the fact that I don't know if he, like, player model wise, he just feels longer than Emeka Okafor from having played with him. Maybe that's my bias because I've always seen Amar'e as taller than Emeka, but LeBron James layup package, elite dunking, Amar'e, one of the better dunkers in history from the power forward position. Yeah, this card is phenomenal. The only thing you could ask for with this card is if he had a better base. That's pretty much it. Outside of that, I think this Amar'e card is better than solid, probably better than most people's small forwards in the game. There are a select few that I would put maybe above him, like some of the truly, truly, truly elite guys. But I think he'll be able to hold his own even against those guys. Even for myself, I love Tyrese Thomas. Love, love, love Tyrese Thomas. I would play with both cards before deciding to start Tyrese Thomas over Amar'e. I would probably pick Tyrese because of the Kobe upper. That would probably be the differentiator. But Amar'e would be in the conversation for quite some time. So, yeah. So that is the whole set for today. Oh, no. It's not the whole set for today. We still have to do Mr. Alonzo Mourning. Where are you, Alonzo? Where'd I put you? There you go. Alonzo Mourning. This guy, above everybody, really, really needs a jump shot improvement, because defensively, offensively, you know, he's great going to the basket. He's got a really large frame for a 6'10" guy. 7'6" wingspan, outstanding. He's like a mini Wilt, like the way his frame is. You just see him on the court, you see that wingspan, you're like, whoa, you know, this card feels like he's one of those cards that can really be all over the place too. Scottie Pippen lower Kyle Korver. That cannot be his same shot. Hold up. Hold on, Amar'e. So this collection might have just gotten a lot better. Hold up. No, he had Shaq base and default big before. I remembered that he had the default big. That's why I was like, there's no way that's the same. This is one of the best jumpers in the game. Elite base with an elite release. And yeah, Alonzo Mourning is, hold on, we gotta look at these animations. So the Ja size up, I don't love, but the Kyrie Irving dribble style, obviously excellent. Trey escape, excellent. John Wall crossover, fantastic. John Wall moving step back. He's in the conversation. And to mind you, I was talking about best power forward in the game. Of course, Tim Duncan, obviously, is the best. Like Patty base, Tim Duncan's crazy. And then Wemby's also going to be crazy. Although, when we start talking about Wemby, I start thinking about function. Because yes, Wemby 7'4" at the power forward position, excellent release, freaky animations all over the place. However, if my team needs a shot creator, it's not that I would take Wemby off the team in exchange for Alonzo, but would I play Wemby at a different position? If he's a small forward or a PG, they all play center. Would I put him at center and pair him with Lonzo? So it's not so much a versus in that stance, like him being better than Wemby, but does he slide Wemby to a different position? That's what I think about with this Alonzo. But yeah, this Lonzo looks like an S-tier shooting guard. An S-tier power forward across the board. I can't see any flaws in him. Excellent wingspan, 6'10", just tall enough, good muscular, stocky build. Stats are obviously perfect. Badges are, hold on. No, badges are basically perfect. I don't think he even needs any Hall of Fame badges. here. None of these badges that aren't Hall of Fame are a significant upgrade. Even Space Creator, which I would suggest you use a lot because of that Jokic hop jumper, I think gold is fine because of the 99 attribute rating. I don't think you're going to see any difference between gold and Hall of Fame with an attribute rating that high. So yeah, this card is a card I think is great. If there was a 200K option pack, would I get this card? I would say maybe, to be honest with you. I think if I had the choice between grinding 200K VC to buy this card or grinding 800 triple threat games, 400 clutch time offline games, 300 clutch time online games, or however long it takes on unlimited, I think the easier way would be to grind the 200K and pick this guy out of the option pack if he's available. And I would get him over Tim Duncan, hands down, because he's just easier to get. Is Tim possibly a little bit better? Maybe. I'd have to play with both cards to see, to be honest with you. I don't just look at you. And if you're new to this channel, I do think you have to play with the cards, because the combination of all of these SIGs with the size of the cards, sometimes you see the same thing, but it feels different. I disagree with Ty and RCA that you can just look at 2KDB and tell how good a card is. And I think that's evidenced by the fact, and this is no shade towards those guys, because I'm a fan of both of them. Me and Ty, talk from time to time. Ty's been very supportive of the channel. I've spoken to RCA for years, actually. So this is just a disagreement, not shade. But when they make their playlist, there are tier lists, their tier lists change after they use the cards. So if using the cards didn't matter, you would never change the tier list. Obviously, playing the card is more information than not playing the card. So I don't go final judgment on stuff like this. This is just like, with the information that we have, this is what I think. And with the information that we have, if I were to compare the two cards, I do want to look at him compared to that Timmy. So Timmy is 1 inch taller, actually. Smaller wingspan, right? Better size up. Everything else is pretty equivalent. I got to see what combo and breakdown moves Lonzo has. Patty obviously is going to be better than Scottie Pippen. Sure, that is an advantage for Timmy. But the Kyle Korver upper is, the Tim Duncan upper is really good. This is something that they use in my career on a lot of bigs. He's usually blended in there. But the Kyle Korver upper, we know what you bring to the table with that Kyle Korver upper, right? Timmy does have Pro Tool leaner versus the normal leaner. However, 4 inches on the wingspan is notable, and a stocky player build is notable. So on paper, the difference between these two cards comes down to this Patty Mills base, really, and the Pro 2 leaner versus the normal leaner. But is that enough to make it worth it to grind for the seasonal Tim Duncan versus this Alonzo Mourning? Now, if you pulled this Tim Duncan, congratulations. But most people didn't. And is this guy a valid replacement for Tim Duncan? On paper, I'm going to say I think so. And I tell you what, my review of this collection has shifted somewhat. Jason Kidd is still going to be serviceable. Steph still largely unusable. Michael Redd completely irrelevant. However, with before it was, okay, there's 2 decent cards in here, right? And Emeka is better than decent, but I do think if I had both of these guys on the team, he might not play. Amar'e is one of the best small forwards in the game, I would probably say. And I have to look at that shot on very quick just to be absolutely sure, but I think Amar'e is really, really good. But Alonzo being one of the best power forwards in the game definitely makes this a better collection. The main problem being, I don't think these packs are good packs to pull, even if you're a pack puller, because the odds are just really, really low. You have to pull like a lot of these packs to get these cards. And then when you get the card, there's no pathway. Like if you want Alonzo Mourning, look at how many of these cards that you could get. And these would all be rare pulls. The game basically saying, excuse me, congratulations, you got Michael Redd. Like you beat the odds. You got Michael Redd, right? That could happen. You could pull 4 Michael Redds before you get Alonzo Mourning and just spend your whole mortgage getting this guy. So in that sense, I still think this collection is a terrible idea. And I think pulling packs for this collection, and again, not whether or not you should pull packs. I'm saying even if you are pulling packs, I don't think this is a good time to do it because the odds of getting what you want are extraordinarily low. I think saving your currency for the MT releases and for the Friday release is probably a wiser deal. Now, in terms of saving your VC, however you get it, VC method on the channel, if for those of you who do such things. Now, 200K is a large amount to get if you have no other way to earn VC, but like if you don't play My Career for real, if you're only just farming it, I think it can take a long time. Like, and it's a really like a sliding scale, because if you just want to go in and get a quick 40K, that can be really, really, really fast. But then when you multiply that all the way up to 200K, once you get to like 150K, you're like, oh man, I hate this video game, right? So that having been said, I think grinding the 200K for Alonzo, if they put out an option pack, is way more worth it than touching any of these packs in the MT. And, by pulling packs, I should say, by pulling these packs. And the benefit to that is if you spend to get the card you want in Alonzo, and you don't spend any MT or VC pulling these packs, then you can spend that stuff on Friday and probably make your team more well-rounded. But that having been said, yeah, 3 really, really good cards. You have a very good card, very, very good card, and an absolutely probably elite card in this collection. So I think overall, 50% of the set is good, 50% is ignore, even though I don't think Jason Kidd is bad. I think he can play. Michael and jury's out on Michael and Stefan, but my hunch is that they're both pretty bad. And don't play over the free cards in the game. Even for Steph, I don't think he plays over Drew Holiday and Derek White. So that's the collection. That's my review. And hopefully that info helps you guys. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. And if you have already liked and subscribed, thank you for your support. The channel continues to grow, and I'm happy to continue to provide the content for you guys. And it's been a blast so far. Let's keep it moving. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.